It's been over half a century, but we're finally going back to the moon. And this time, it's not just about planting a flag. Nope. This is the story of Artemis II, a mission that's really about our future, a future that could take us all the way to Mars.
But you gotta ask, right? After Apollo 17 left the moon back in 1972, we just stopped. For decades, humanity basically just circled the Earth in low orbit. So what happened? Why did it take us over 50 years to finally head back out there?
Yeah, look at this timeline. That 54-year gap, it's just wild when you see it laid out like that. I mean, think about it. A whole generation, maybe even two, grew up without ever seeing a human travel beyond our planet's immediate neighborhood. But now, with Artemis II, that long, long silence, it's finally over.
So to really get what makes this mission so important, we have to look at why we're going back now and what's really changed in all that time. Okay, first things first, this is not a repeat of the Apollo missions. The Artemis program is a whole different ballgame. The goal here is so much bigger. We're not just going for a quick visit. The plan is to actually build a permanent base on the moon, kind of like a base camp. And that lunar base, it's the critical stepping stone for the next giant leap, sending astronauts to Mars. And you know who's leading the charge? A totally new generation of explorers, and they represent a huge shift from the way things were done in the past. Think about it. The Apollo program was amazing, right? But every single one of the 24 astronauts who flew to the moon, they were all white men. It was a massive achievement for sure, but it didn't exactly reflect all of humanity. Well, Artemis is changing all of that. And the Artemis II crew is the perfect example. You've got Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Koch from NASA, plus Jeremy Hansen from the Canadian Space Agency. I mean, look at this crew. We have the first person of color, the first woman, and the first non-American to ever fly to the moon. This is way more than just symbolic. It shows that exploring deep space is now for everyone, a truly global effort. So this incredible crew set off on a really complex 10-day test flight. And the whole point was to push their brand new spacecraft to the absolute limit.
And it all starts with a number that is just mind-blowing. 8.8 million pounds of thrust. That is the raw, brute force of the Space Launch System rocket, the SLS. It's literally the most powerful rocket ever built. And you need every single pound of that power just to punch the Orion spacecraft and its crew out of Earth's gravity and send them on their way.
So for those 10 days, the Orion spacecraft was their home. And if you compare it to the old Apollo capsules, man, it is a huge leap forward. For one, it's bigger, it can hold more people for longer trips, but more importantly, it's built to handle the really tough environment of deep space, way outside the protective bubble of Earth's magnetic field. And get this. This is where the tech jump really becomes insane. Just one of Orion's flight computers is 20,000 times faster than the computer that took Apollo to the moon. It has 128,000 times more memory. That's just a staggering amount of progress, right? And what that really means is you get a much safer, much more capable ship. Now, the flight path itself was this really elegant piece of physics. After checking all the systems in high Earth orbit, they pointed Orion toward the moon on what's called a free return trajectory. And you can think of it like a cosmic safety net. Basically, it uses the moon's own gravity to whip the spacecraft around and send it right back to Earth. So even if the main engine failed, they'd still have a safe ride home. Super clever. And on this super carefully planned path, the crew wasn't just retracing the steps of Apollo. No, they went way, way further. For over half a century, there was a record that stood untouched. It was set back in 1970 by the crew of Apollo 13 during that famous, terrifying journey home. They traveled farther from Earth than any human had ever been before, and for 56 years, nobody beat it. Until now. Artemis II absolutely shattered that record. At the peak of their journey, the crew was over 250,000 miles from home. They went deeper into space than anyone in human history. But right at that moment, Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen said something really cool. He basically said, this record isn't meant to last. He saw it as a challenge, right? A new line in the sand for the next generation of explorers to cross on their way to the moon, and one day, Mars. And right there, at this incredible, historic distance from Earth, the mission became really, really personal. The crew actually radioed down a special request. They wanted to name a crater Carol. It was this beautiful tribute to Commander Reed Wiseman's late wife. It's just a powerful reminder that behind all the rockets and the computers, exploration is and always will be about people. So, this record-breaking, deeply human mission was way more than just a joyride around the moon. It was an absolutely crucial step for our future in space.
Which brings us to the big question. You're probably thinking it, right? If they were right there, why didn't they just land?
Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. Artemis II was a test flight. Think about it. You wouldn't buy a brand new car and immediately take it on a cross-country road trip, right? You drive it around town first. This mission was exactly that, but on a cosmic scale. It was the ultimate test drive for Orion, making sure every single system worked perfectly with a human crew on board before they even think about attempting a landing. Every bit of data they gathered, every system they checked, it was all to make sure that Artemis III is safe and successful. And that's the mission we're all waiting for, the one that will finally land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon. So Artemis II was that essential first domino in a long line of missions that will lead us to having a permanent home on the moon. The success of Artemis II proves it. Our tech is ready. Our will is ready. It closes that 54-year chapter where we just stayed close to home and opens up a brand new one. So really, the big question isn't just about the moon anymore. With this crucial test out of the way, the real question is humanity finally ready for that next giant